For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola Bakare, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level.
Welcome to your lofty program, State of the Nation, where we hasten the motions for national development. And when we talk about national development, I keep saying this on a regular basis, you're part of it too. This morning we shall delve into a factor that is affecting us for too long a while. We've been complaining over the days, close on decades, and what am I talking about? I am talking about insecurity. Insecurity has been with us for a while now. It's all over the world though. It's not just peculiar to Nigeria, it's all over the world. But at least the onus is on us to be able to take care of ourselves, be able to make sure that we're secure in our own environment, in our own nation. But at the same time, it is a tough battle. It is a tough battle. Because one of the things I normally say is, we should remember that the devil is still alive. The devil causes conflict. The devil is not at rest if there is peace. The devil is interested if there is war. Little wonder the whole world is at war as we speak. Little wonder Nigeria is having a very, very serious case of insecurity. And at the same time, what we're doing is some of us are coming up with ideas of what should be done, how we should try and mitigate the insecurity that we have on hand. Little wonder our topic for this morning is insecurity and the call for self-defense. Honestly, when you get so bothered, when you can't sleep at night, even with one eye closed, you start looking for solutions that will at least be able to defend yourself and your family. That is the state we found ourselves in Nigeria. And then with the security apparatus we have on ground, both the army and the paramilitary, they are all doing their best. But at least as we've seen so far, insecurity is still with us. We shall discuss the nitty-gritty of this insecurity and the call for self-defense on state level, community level this morning. And I have in the studios with me none other than my brother, Yushau Aliu. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, Nigeria.
Thank you for honoring our invite.
Thank you, sir.
There is one thing about him. He's always very, very explicit about his postulations. He will tell you what he thinks is happening, and then he will give us insights from the angle of a political analyst and from the angle of an economic analyst. That is why this morning we're going to get all the full gist from the political angle and from the economic angle from your person.
Thank you.
From my intro, even a kid in Nigeria knows that there is insecurity in the land. And every day, our security apparatus, they're trying their best to make sure that they mitigate this insecurity on a regular basis. But the thing is, lately, there has been a call. It has happened before. There was a time, maybe months back, when one of our real good soldiers, T.Y. Danjuma, said the same thing, that, come, it's high time we revert to self-defense. A lot of people are saying it. But the latest person that said it is the Zamfara State Governor, who said, let us revert to self-defense. Bearing in mind the fact that our laws does not allow us to carry arms, what do you think in terms of statements like this?
You have to look at the background. That's very essential. And when you are to look into background, you now look at what is the essence of state. The state is organized by people who are willing to stay together. And the first responsibility of that state is to provide security for lives and properties.
Oh,
of
that's
citizens.
the first job of any government.
So now, remember, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan mentioned a phrase, systemic failure. And once that is mentioned, and you take into look at what society is all about, you now realize that it has also affected the failure. The systemic failure is more glaring in what is called security aspect of a state,
Of course.
for many reasons. We cannot shy away from globalization. And when globalization is mentioned, it appears that what matters to A must also be matters to B. We started from a peaceful world. You said in the background, devil. Yes, psychologically, spiritually, there exists a devil. But there was a time when that devil is not at work in Nigeria.
That the people who are at work.
Yeah, people are at work. That is, when you put the right remedies, you have you create a barricade with the devil.
Of course, you can.
Yes.
Both spiritually and physically, you can create a barricade with the devil.
And that is why the state has to come in. And that is why the citizen also has to follow. So, globalization, forces were created in the world. Government deliberately destroy state with ammunitions.
How come?
State of Libya.
Okay. You're talking about global
That's global scale.
Yes, right. That's right.
And experts saw it coming. You cannot have 7.8, 7.9 billion people on planet today. You cannot have them and say they are incapable to stay together. It's impossible.
Why do you say that?
Because you look at the largest population concentrated nations like China.
China, India, they are over 1 billion each.
And they are managing the security aspect of their people, because you look at the proportion of the population and then you create the right number to take care of that population.
You're talking in terms of the security apparatus, the
Excellent.
numbers, and the equipment.
And the equipment. And when globalization is mentioned, before AK-47 is not produced in Abuja, is not produced in Kano. Where is it produced? And who are the producers? And who are they selling to? And what control have they?
They are producing out there and they're selling to us.
Not just merely selling to us. Anytime this cartel produces, they are looking for money.
They market. They will look for market.
They will look for market. And how do you create market? It's like a medical doctor who corona is no longer in existence. And therefore their relevance to the society may not be known. Then there must be chicken pox.
I like that. I like that. Because what you just said now made me, let me say it back to Nigerians again.
Yes.
It might sound bad.
Yes.
But it is a statement of truth.
Yes.
When a panel beater wakes up in the morning and prays to God, God, let me make money. What's
Yes.
he praying for?
A car to be destroyed.
For accidents to
For
happen.
accident to happen.
Let's even make it more morbid.
Yeah.
A man that makes coffin,
Yeah.
if he prays in the morning that God should let him sell,
Yes.
he's praying for people to die.
Yes.
So basically in life, there are situations like that.
And that was why in the 80s, when Shehu Shagari was commissioning the fire service, he said, we are commissioning today, but we are not praying to God to bring your work.
That's right. But the thing is, like you rightly said,
Yes.
in life, we
Yes.
cannot escape that.
We cannot, but we have to manage it.
You said something that is highly important.
Yeah.
In terms of the manufacturers of these armaments.
Excellent.
The moment they manufacture the armament, they will be looking for where to sell them.
Yes.
And for them to sell them, they have to go and create chaos somewhere.
Yes. And societies also, we must be careful. I told some people that, look, don't allow certain category of individuals to be in possession of or to understand the power of gun.
That's true.
Because before 1776, the U.S. were disturbed with a lot of issues, and they resorted to using gun.
The days of the Wild Wild West.
Wild West. But at the end of the day, they have to come to agreement. Please, keep your gun, but be vigilant with the gun. And that is a tragedy today, the United States and the gun. Yes. Now they are looking at which age bracket
they will allow to carry guns and the rest of it.
So, but in this case, it is a known fact that Zamfara has been disturbed by a lot of crises.
Of course. No, virtually everywhere.
No.
But Zamfara's case is...
When Zamfara is mentioned, when globalization is mentioned, when Zamfara instituted Sharia, the whole attention of the world went directly to Zamfara state.
Give us a better insight about the case of Sharia and the case of Zamfara and the global focus.
When the governor of Zamfara state declared Zamfara as an Islamic state, there has been agitation by the entire global community. What is this Zamfara? What are they after for? And why a state within a federation created an Islamic system? It attracted the attention of even the Archbishop of Canterbury.
That's right.
Now, Sharia,
it runs pari passu with our
social system. So now, not only that angle, but we from the north remain adamant to the destruction of state of Libya.
Yeah, honestly, from that angle of Libya, Libya is a pure case of global instability.
So when there was scavenging of resources, gold was exhausted, cash was exhausted,
was highly looted in Libya.
Then what remains were the military softwares.
And Libya had a lot of it.
And Libya had a lot of it. And a large number of the mercenaries working for Gaddafi happens to come from West Africa.
West Africa, yes.
And they have no alternative because there was civil crisis from one city, one group to the next. Right. What left for the mercenaries is to disappear because they don't know the war to fight again in Libya.
They just pack their arms
so they have
and
to push
and then move.
They have to move to Niger Republic. And coming to Niger, no money, started trading ammunitions freely in the desert. Boko Haram got access to them. When there was much pressure on Boko Haram from Sambisa, geographically, they have to also locate safer areas. Then Zamfara was having only cattle rustling. And the proponents were known, but we refused to be more sincere to ourselves.
How so?
Because we began to put accusation to Ebele Goodluck Jonathan is destabilizing Zamfara because he don't want Zamfara people.
Because that's a wrong allegation based on.
But it was clear. It was clear that it was a cattle rustling that was taking place, and there was sometime attack on villages, and then individual communities decided to now ambush to counter those.
The rustlers and the thieves and the rest of them.
That was when the Mbanga became an issue. And the Mbanga were not operating.
You will translate that. It's not everybody that understands it.
Very, very correct. Vigilantes, local vigilantes, were created to fight them.
That's right.
But in doing so, there is no any code of ethics that look at human rights, that look at professionalism, then we are doing it brutally to their understanding. And that provoked large number of people.
Of course, of course.
Now it created a barrier between the houses and the Fulanis. Before, you remember I told you, we began to now put an accusing finger on somebody at the top that is responsible for our insecurity.
When
we are responsible for it.
It is the government that he is serving,
yes,
that makes him, he is the one that should take care of us.
Even if he is adamant, because he cannot be in good contact of the picture of what was going on, we have to now bring out the picture clearly. Until somebody called Buharindaji came out and challenged everybody. That is when the matter came out. He now posed himself as being that if eventually anything happens to him, then Zamfara state will never be as peaceful as Maiduguri. It will go to a worse scenario, worse than what is happening in Boko Haram zone. And we have witnessed that. Because he was killed, not by state machineries, but non-state factors. And the situation now became holistic in nature, meaning that these people are known, these people have camps, these people put taxes on our people, and state remain ineffective.
You see, on this note that you just said, I would like to remind you of something we've had in Nigeria that is becoming an issue. It is a known fact that we have too many ungoverned areas in Nigeria because there's no spread of governance. So the people there, they just live off nature, and that's that, which makes it easier for all these bandits and the rest of them to just walk into a populace and then take over.
Yes.
But the thing is, I want you to now expatiate for us, because you have a very good grasp of what is happening in Zamfara. Why is it there was a time in Zamfara that we had a no-fly zone? What is it that we have in Zamfara that will bring a plane, all those small planes, into Zamfara? One. Two, what is it that is happening in Zamfara that will make the federal government say, let's have a no-fly zone? Then it means that there is something higher than what we have that is happening there.
But that something higher is not higher than authority.
Of course.
So yes. The state machineries, this is exactly what I was trying to postulate.
I was asking my brother here, Yushau Aliu, about the case in Zamfara. That why was it at some time back that we had a case of a no-fly zone? For there to be a no-fly zone means there is a lot of activities happening there that warranted aircrafts, be it small, be it big, be it choppers, helicopters, or what have you. What was it that was on ground that warranted that then? Because, like you said, there are pockets of people here and there that are cornering small swords of Nigeria. What is? Continue with that, your analysis.
That's what brought the issue of globalization. If you own an aircraft is not like bicycle that you can just buy without license.
Of course.
So anything that has to do with no-fly zone, even at international standard, has to do with war situation.
There is something hard that is happening there.
Excellent. So that no-fly zone, okay, we can take it as a scenario that is based on certain criminal tendencies. Criminal tendencies in terms of mining,
which is lucrative, highly lucrative,
highly lucrative. But I want to clear an insinuation that probably these bandits that are taking over villages so as to have an advantage to protect illegalized mining activities. No. If they are taking illegalized mining activities, why are they collecting heavy ransom from individuals? if you know you have money there. And
so
the recent,
basically that means it's another group of people that are doing that.
Yes.
Another group of people that are engaged in illegal mining.
Yes, because cattle
lucrative.
rustling has no connection to local mining, because it is rustling. You go, you take people's cows and then run away with them, and then kill them, and then take their by extension you take any of your things that you feel like. But the recent case in Shiroro has explained another detail, a detail where Nigerian armed forces were attacked.
It hurts me to feel our boys.
Yes.
We spent money in training. We lost 30 of them in one day and counting.
And they were not in that place to fight bandits. They were there to protect probably local mining corporation there.
Of course, yes.
So you see, so the issue of saying that it is illegal is not legal.
No, I guess the case of Shiroro maybe
Yes.
had a little bit of legality in it, maybe from the Nigerian government. Maybe they have a license.
Yes.
Because they had the army there, they
Yes.
had the police there.
Yes. What I'm trying to say, anywhere you see state apparatus, it means it's legal.
That's right. That's right. But like you rightly pointed out now, what hurts me as a person, as
Yes.
a Nigerian, is the essence that when these bandits went there
Yeah.
and created that unstable situation, backup was called up,
Yes.
and the backup walked into an ambush.
So an ambush and then took away hostages.
That's it.
So meaning that those bandits, or probably those operating on body, they are operating on a different scale. Mining is taking place differently, but also the society is looking at it differently. But the entire...
What is the way you are looking at it?
The way I'm looking at it, it is what I told you, globalization. You cannot disarm a state and allow ammunition to just move. You know the consequences. When illiterate took guns, you know they will use it illiterate. They will use
In an illiterate manner.
in an illiterate manner, and that is the price we are taking today. And it is unbecoming. That's why I gave you the globe from the year 2000 to date. The entire scenario of Africa is changing. It's changing from a situation where Nigerians, a peaceful land, and we are taking our armies to take them to Sierra Leone, to this place, to maintain peace. Now we are under attack.
Problem, and then we are
under attack now by our own people. So systemic failure. But how best are we going to tackle this issue?
That is my next question to you. How do we tackle it? Because there are instances like Matawale has said, like a lot of other people, Nigerians, governors, VIPs, that we should start looking inwards. Like you rightly said, that this is our problem. We should find our own peculiar solutions to it. What do you think in terms of state policing? Because state policing might be a catalyst in this case. What do you think in terms of community policing? What do you think in terms of vigilante groupings? I want you to hear me very well.
Yeah.
Let us start from the element of vigilante grouping, which can happen in a very small switch of area, to community, which can be on a local government level, to state policing, which is on a state level. Let's start from the vigilante. What do you think we can do along these security lines? Are they good to go? If they are good to go, are we using them? And if we are using them, what apparatus are we giving to them to use?
You see, we are just wasting much of our energy, much of our resources.
You mean we are talking too much?
State security is not a job for every citizen.
Of course, yes. Of course.
Especially in a delicate manner. You need professionals to handle professionally.
Oh, yes.
So there is no need for us to now think that the state has no mind to recruit and train special forces.
On the state level or on the national level?
On a national level.
Are we not doing that?
If we can pay subsidy.
No, are we not doing that?
We are not doing that because the population growth of 200 million to a less than a million Nigerian army.
Honestly, I can give you the figures. If you add all of them together,
yes,
they are less than 2 million.
All.
plus police, plus paramilitary, plus this, plus that.
So how do you expect them to do? But the devil you mentioned earlier has presence in every home.
So he's speaking of idle people.
Yes. Police community relations can help the police.
PCRC, yes.
But using the right people to
That's
push
true.
out the informants, to push out the gun dealers, and and also to point out the green locations.
That's
This
right.
can be done through community policing, but you cannot expecting a policeman or an army to go into. Look at this, for instance. Colonel Abu Ali was brutally killed in an operation in Maiduguri.
I remember him.
A committee was set to find out what transpired. There is no outcome of to now.
And that man was a good soldier.
Was a good,
very
dedicated himself to the
dedicated
state.
soldier.
So that applies to every personnel of the army, because the first thing you have to understand, if you put a uniform, that uniform is your nation. They all agree. But have you protected them to do that job? Have you now protect them after death? These are some issues. So the same thing, if an army that dedicated his time, dedicated
His
everything, his life for others to live well, will be brutally assassinated and it will be forgotten completely, then how do you expect the vigilante to come and perform better?
But the thing is, you see, there are instances where when an anomaly is closer to you, you can relate to it. You said something now that in the case of PCRC,
Yes.
within the community, it is the people
Yes.
that will give those little
Information.
information to the police
Yes.
for them to work with. I am trying to look at this. You know, when the war started in the Northeast, we were using civilian JTF.
Yeah.
That is people that know the terrain.
Yes.
Because in most cases, the army does not know all those kind of guerrilla areas. They need to bring in local people that knows all the footpaths and the bushes and the rest of them. And I guess they were doing a good job. They gave the army some kind of insight. They can take them to places they would not normally go. Because in the army, you talk about armored corps, you talk about motorized personnel, you talk about all of them are road-based.
Mr. Bola, please, if we want to be serious in this nation,
We have to.
if those guys can help the Nigerian army to locate, why not Nigerian army recruit them as special force and contain them and contain their excesses and train them?
But the thing is, there is a standard rule of recruitment.
That standard rule we have to go is the same people that put that rule. You cannot take somebody from Goza to take him to Izombe in Imo State and ask him to operate.
He's lost somewhat.
He doesn't know the terrain, he doesn't know the language, and at the same time, he is also at risk. So, but the emphasis here is, let us understand that if we are to deal with security, we have to maintain one source of security.
How do you
Because what I mean here is that the state has to provide security, because that's the fundamental role of a state. If you now relate, you ask individual, the first thing that we are suffering today is a Fulani guy that took a gun, AK-47, and knows the dangers today, and he cannot live without AK-47, and you are expecting to fight him. If he keeps AK-47, he's like normal any other person.
He doesn't care. He has the power to kill.
He has the power to kill. He has the power to come and sit close to you and knows his enemy and then come back and take decision
That are brutal.
and unbecoming. And that has multiplier effect. So we should not call for anarchy.
Are we treading towards anarchy?
We are moving towards, because by the time the communities own gun, the same vigilante that were brutalizing the Fulanis
We'll go back for reprisals.
and they're the same people. And remember, in many communities, I had an interview with somebody. They are just trying to say that there in some of these communities, they only want access to the gun because they were repentant robbers, so they know how to operate the gun. So if they should be covered by law to take gun, they are going to the field and fight another evil. So you send professionals to bring stability. You don't send all kind of morality, immorality to go and bring morality. You have to. State is moral. The state security forces is moral because whatever they are doing, they are guided by law. But when you now give gun to those that are not guided with any rule,
no ethics,
no ethics. So what are you calling? You are calling for anarchy. And when anarchy.
Thank you. On that note, because I'm enjoying your trend, and I'm sure fellow Nigerians are enjoying your trend and chain of thought. Let me now revert back to where we started. That look, if we say we are going to go and defend yourself, and people start having access to guns and the rest of it, we are going to have a worse situation on our hands. That is what we are trying to postulate to us, because most of all these boys that know how to handle a gun, they are totally out of the security apparatus, and as such, they don't live under any ethics. They don't listen to any chain of command. So there's always that tendency that they might just move out there and go commit atrocities that are worse than what we have as we speak.
Yes.
So I am looking at this like a two-edged sword. You go this way, it cuts. You go that way, it cuts. Insecurity, we are trying to fight. Giving guns to people might be detrimental. Where is the middle line? Where is the middle line?
Efficiency of the government. I have said it time without number. We have professional generals. The first person to call for citizens to protect themselves was General Tiwa Danjuma. Call him.
How do we do this?
Please, that statement that you mentioned, put security expert on table. Let him expatiate reason why he now advocated for that.
Because he is a professional.
He's a professional. And then ask him, okay, if not that model, which model do you think can bring sanity into our system? They have the ideas. And it's not a rocket science.
It is a science that they know as military personnel.
Yes, because the truth of the matter is that I am not comfortable with everybody with gun. Because,
nobody is. I am not comfortable
because
either.
I know how people used to take grudges. And I know how uncontrolled people can be.
They'll just come out of their houses and go and kill the next man.
And kill the next person. And when that war started, revenge will come in. Because in the course of doing, even if the state make a mistake, but it is covered under state. But if an individual make a mistake of executing mistakenly an individual,
and the reprisals will come from the other group.
From the other group. And before you know, then everybody is not safe, including the governor himself. Because politicians will now come in their campaigns. Because the next thing is to start going to campaigns, local government, ward by ward. You have to hire gunmen.
To make sure you win.
And if the other politician also has to hire gunmen, because it is allowed. And the next issue is going to be attack. And when it now becomes a political attack, now it has now passed the bush, it will come to the cities.
It will come to town. It will come to town. I like that, your analogy. And I want to state to Nigerians here that we need to look at the situation we have on our hands holistically. If we say we give guns to everybody, there is going to be a serious case of Wild Wild West. America is not enjoying it. Even when they can afford to profile everybody, you can't buy a gun without having your addresses. They have everything about you. But at the same time, they are still having problems. As of yesterday, one crankhead just went into a crowd of people during their July 4th celebrations and killed 6. It happened in so many states. There, they still have a little bit, a high degree of decorum. But if we compare that to what we have out here, like my brother Yusha Aliu said, we will be in trouble if we give everybody a gun. Because there is no ethics that guides them. There is no mentality. He used one word, give a gun to an illiterate, he will use it with the mentality of an illiterate. He stated for us another anomaly, that if we have guns, politicians will take over. These days we have political parties, when it comes to elections, they fight themselves, maybe with cutlasses, machetes, and the rest of them, and maybe physical fight. By the time they have guns, he gave us that insight. It will become 2 or 3 warring factions killing themselves because they have the guns to do it. So the situation of our insecurity, we should look at it holistically. He ran another inference for us by telling us that let us look back on our generals. It was our monies that trained them, and they became the best of generals. I can remember, like he rightly said too, the likes of Obasanjo was in Congo about 50 years ago. We were in Sierra Leone, Liberia, keeping peace for other people. Why can't we keep peace at home? We need our professionals. That was another factor he laid across to us. We need professionals in the field of security. Don't just say it that give them guns. For what and to who? Based on what? For everything that involves arms, there has to be a chain of command. There has to be command and control. Those are the basics of having a gun and giving it to people and then being able to command and control them. If we don't have command and control over anybody that carries a gun, we will be in more trouble than we are today. My brother, you see the situation we have right now, it's not a situation that we can finish in one day. It didn't start yesterday.
Yeah.
It has been with us for ages. And honestly, we are going to take care of it. But I would like you to give us your last word. That what do you think we can do? We are looking for solutions because we've been able to identify the problem. What are the solutions? In short words, what are the solutions you think we can provide? We might not be in government, but this is what we can do. And then we'll be able to advise power. Nobody has the prerogative of intellect. We have our senses too. They have theirs. But when we just suppose them, we will be able to move forward. In short words, what are your solutions to this anomaly on ground?
My first solution has to do with efficiency of our security operatives and their welfare.
That's good.
And there must be recruitment of special forces.
Heavy recruitment.
There should be heavy recruitment of special forces.
Let me back you up on that. If
No.
you go to South Africa,
Yeah.
with a population of 50 million people,
Yeah.
their police force is 1.5 million.
1.5 million.
So if we translate that to Nigeria, we should be having 6 million policemen.
Yes.
And
At least
unfortunately, what we have in Nigeria now is about 400,000.
400,000. So how do you expect a big state with a big trouble? We have big troubles.
Of course, yes.
Because when
Of
you
course,
have
yes.
not finished with Boko Haram, which is international, there is WAP, and there are bandits. And
There is
are
local insecurity, day-to-day petty thievery and this.
But when the state decided to be efficient, holistically, the state also has to make sure that they stabilize prices of what people are taking. Because when you don't stabilize the economy,
The economist in you is coming out now.
yes, you see, the general factor, when you are at elementary stage of economics, they will teach you about production possibility frontier. It has many names, but only one concept.
Okay.
Production possibility curve, production possibility frontier, production possibility factor. What this is trying to tell is that the state has to balance, either to produce gun or to produce butter. So if we are to produce butter, it's civilian. We invest so much on civilians. But if you fail to make butter available, you buy much of gun. And that is why it is important for policymakers to understand that there is no any joy for anybody to think that when you see agricultural output is cheaper in the market, you say farmers are not getting money. It's wrong perception. This is a blessing from God. When you have too much of poor people, you are expecting prices to be low. But when it is not low, a hungry man is an angry man.
Of course.
That is the scenario.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And to you, our viewers out there, you've been able to enjoy my guess, from the angle of a political analyst and from the angle of an economic analyst. Part of what the solutions he profiled for us is a case where the state takes care of the people so that it can mitigate them going into or being a factor of our insecurity. He said something there. He said there are two cases for the states to look at. He said that you provide the butter, the bread and butter for them to eat, or you leave them with no other option than to carry guns. What we're saying here is it is not an easy affair. It is not an easy affair. We, the average everyday people in Nigeria, can see it. It is not an easy affair. But what we're saying here is the government should up the ante. Do some more. There are human beings out there. We need human beings to fight them. Don't let us create situations where they are at a disadvantage. You have 20 bandits coming for you and there are just 5 of you. You are at a disadvantage however good you are. It's either you are at a disadvantage in terms of numbers or you are at a disadvantage in terms of armament. You're going to fight and you have just a clip. By the time you empty the clip, what do? You start running. And the bandit that is coming has maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 clips with them. So he can shoot for the next 1 hour. What I'm saying here is this. We need the help of the state to take care of this anomaly in terms of beefing up our security architecture. So also, we need a better economic status. Like my brother here, the economist said, we need a better economic status. When people are hungry, they are angry. And when they are idle, they are the devil's workshop. And like we said when we started out, the devil is still alive. He is making use of people. On this note, because we cannot say this in just one day, in one fell swoop, no. I would like to say one big thank you to you, my brother.
Thank you very much.
For honoring our invite.
Thank you.
And then being able to share your insights with us. Because I've received 1 or 2 comments here that, yeah, this man has an insight. Because you even gave us an insight into the Zamfara debacle. But at the same time, we are praying to God. We are working at it. The government is working at it. And at the end of the day, we can be rest assured that security will come to us in as much as the government is doing the right thing. And to you, our viewers back there, don't go away.